Hi there, welcome to the Sleep Pod. I'm James, and normally I tell a long, boring and meandering story, but this episode is going to be slightly different. Instead of a story, here's an apology and an explanation and a vague rundown of what will be happening with the Sleep Pod soon. So you may have noticed that there's not been an episode for the last few weeks, and before then my releases were slightly more sporadic. There's a few reasons for that, and I'm going to go into detail about them now. Hopefully, my explanation and apology, whilst being thorough and informative, is also a bit boring. So at least there's a bit of value there for people who are just listening to get some sleep. Let me start by reassuring you that normal service will resume shortly. But until that point, which hopefully should be next week, maybe the week after, I don't want to guarantee anything just quite yet. But things will be going back to normal in the not too distant future. Okay, so let's get started with the apology. I'm sorry, things have been a bit busy. I've had a few things on, and there's been three main reasons why my output hasn't been as regular as I would like. Reason number one is mainly trying to avoid burnout. I know what you're thinking, making up a story can't be too much of a hassle. And in some regards, it's not too bad. I just have to talk into a microphone for a bit. And while that is true, editing is annoying. For the average episode, I maybe record for about an hour. But then the editing process, where I remove any unnecessarily long pauses, clean up things a little bit, edit out any bits where I just make no sense and have to repeat myself. So all in all, it takes me roughly half a day to record, edit and put out the episode. And because I do this on Sundays, it's not normally too bad, but sometimes I just want to have a weekend off and sit in my pyjamas and watch television. And that is my right as a human. The second issue has been studio relocation. My initial booth was pretty much a rush job, constructed in an understairs cupboard. It did the job, it was fine, but God, it was horrible to work in. Because of that, I thought it would be a good idea to move to a slightly more usable and permanent space. I found a corner of the house which was fine, which I could repurpose as a slightly more useful audio recording space. So since my decision to move, there's been a bit of a slow progress, and it's taken slightly longer to get the room acoustically sound enough to record anything in. It's almost there now. I'm hoping by next weekend it should be a lot better. I suppose I should go into a bit more detail if anybody is actually listening to this to try and help them get to sleep. Basically, there's a lot of acoustic foam around and it's getting there, but my ceiling still needs to be sorted. The doorway, which isn't perfect at the moment, actually 2 doorways really, but it's getting there. It's a lot better than it was a few days ago, and like I say, it is slow progress, but progress is being made, so hooray. Doing a bit of building, trying to make things as good as I can be without spending too much money on stuff, and trying to work out a bit of a better workflow as well for editing, which it's just down to me really. Shouldn't take me too long to. Anyway, I'm going way off track with things. So progress is being made in regards to all that. There's still a few issues. Recording this now, I can hear a noise, which I'm not too sure where it's coming from. Could be the cable for the microphone being too close to a power cable or something. I'm not sure yet. It could be the headphones, because I've got a feeling these headphones may be on their way out. So yeah. Thirdly, the third reason why things have taken a bit longer than they should have done. I had a horrible cold. Not last week, the week before, but it's still kind of there. And even though for a while having a slightly deeper voice than normal would have been great for this, I don't think I could make it through a sentence without needing to cough. I'm still not fully recovered. I mean, don't worry, it wasn't the old COVIDs. I'm fine. I did a test. Just a bit of a stinker of a cold, really. But yeah, I'm almost back up to normal. It's still a bit making my brain a bit fuzzy, which you can probably tell depending on how bad of a job of editing I've done of this. It might be okay, it might not be. Right now it's a bit too early to tell because I'm not editing it right at this second, but I will be in about 10 minutes time. So yeah, I'm trying to keep this as natural and meandering as possible, but I'm finding it way too easy to get distracted and forget what I've said, because I don't want to do a lot of editing and cutting things out, so I'm trying not to retake things. I'm not even sure if this bit of talking right here will remain in. But anyway, right, so just to recap, I needed a bit of me time. I needed a bit of a break because it does take a lot of time putting these together, and I suppose I didn't want to do a half-assed job. If I'm going to do something like this, then I suppose I should, do a decent attempt at podcasting. Wanted to make sure that the quality was as high as it has always been, as high as you've been expecting it to be at the very least. studio relocation. Been a bit of a mess, taking longer than I thought it would. A bit more fiddly. But yeah, almost there with that. And illness. So there's my reasons and excuses. I'm sorry. I think it's not really helped as well that, just feeling awful for a solid week, and that's been sort of taken away any enthusiasm I had for doing posts on social media on where the next episode is. What is that noise? Could be a cat. We've got a new cat as well, which it's not really been a massive help in trying to get things done. But she's a kitten, so what can you do apart from complain? So that's what I'm doing now, complaining. Cats. They can be a bit annoying. Saying that, the dog's not much better. I couldn't lock myself into my understairs recording hole with the dog in the room because the dog would just cry at the door because he is very, very needy. And I've distracted myself again. Right, okay, let's get back on track. Moving forward with the podcast, basically I wanted to try something a bit different going forward. And it's been fine as it is, just talking and making stuff up. Contrary to popular belief, the majority of it is actually made up. Yes, I know, the storylines are very complex and intricate, and you would think that a lot of effort has been put into pre-production. But no, you're wrong. I do feel like sometimes I've sort of made up characters who I'd like to revisit. I'd like to go into a bit more detail and see what else they can do. So, moving forward, I'm going to be doing sort of a mini-series kind of approach to things, and follow a single character or group of characters for a few episodes and see what happens with them, really. I don't want to be wasteful with characters. I don't want to bring something into the world and then abandon them after making them go and buy some chips or trousers or whatever else has happened in past episodes. And I think it could be a bit more interesting just to have a bit of a longer story with some of these guys. Don't worry, everything still will be made up, but there will just be a bit more of a overarching narrative. That's probably overselling it slightly. But basically I just want to be able to carry on. It may make things slightly easier for me. The other concern is obviously with the nature of the podcast, hopefully people will fall asleep before the end. And so I don't want anything too complicated. But maybe if there's slightly less time setting up who a character is, then that might be for the better, and I can just get straight to business of just making them go and do something. I don't know, it seems like a good idea. So basically I'm going to try this for a few episodes and see what happens. but maybe do a little bit of planning beforehand on who these characters are and stuff. But the actual story itself will still be made up with no planning. Is that fair enough? I just want to see if it works like that. It might not, and then I'll revert back to how things are, how things were. But we'll see. Okay, I think I've talked at you enough. Hopefully that has justified some of my actions or inactions, as they could more accurately be described as. But yeah, there are more episodes coming. I don't want to carry on doing this. That's the other thing as well. I just don't want it to feel too much like a chore, you know. It's got to be something I've got to enjoy doing it, and I think having a bit of a break and having a cold hasn't helped either. Anyway, right, okay, I'm distracting myself. I'm taking too long now. Normal service will resume in the not too distant future. Hopefully next week. Yeah, hopefully next week. I will record a new episode, and it should be out by next Sunday. Yeah, I will try and be slightly more engaging on social media. I know, I've had a lot on, work stuff as well, I'm trying to... Okay, no more excuses, I'm sorry. I think I've said all I need to say at the moment. So, yeah, thanks for listening. Hopefully this has answered some questions. Hopefully I've done it in a boring enough way that it has prepped you for sleep. Was it my leg making that noise? I'm not sure. 'Cause I'm standing up doing this. Because it's, mainly because I can. I've been in a cupboard for all the other episodes. So, yeah. Anyway, right. Okay, I'm going to go. You go to sleep. And I will be back in the not too distant future. Hopefully next week. With a new episode, a new story. Same format, more or less. Alright? Don't worry, it'll be fine. Honestly. Now go to sleep. Thank you for listening. And, all that stuff. Good night and goodbye.